Hello YouTube, how's everybody doing? Speed Free 2010 here. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to the last Money Fronts GTA 5 car customization video. So ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be taking a look at currently my first and only drift car, and as I just previously stated, the final drip feed vehicle of the Money Fronts update, the Declasse Walton L35 Drift. So, that being said, let's get right into it, because I've got a bit to say. So, when you open up your phone, you can actually find this truck on the Southern San Andreas website. Now, usually this would cost you an extra $100,000 compared to the stock one that is based off of. But, for the next 2 weeks, it is actually going to be free. And one thing you also need to know is that, one, you need to be a member of the LS Car Meet, which is where I'm at right now, in order to purchase it, which the membership is currently half off this week from $50,000 to $25,000, and it has a missile lock-on jammer available for Imani Tech that you have to put on by yourself. And the drift tuning is built in. Is already built in compared to all of the other cars. Really, all of the other drift cars. In terms of looks, this, for the most part, gets this look off of the first generation Chevrolet S10 small pickup trucks from the 1982 to 1993 model years. The OGs. Speaking of drift spec vehicles, allow me, as of this event week, 4 already existing vehicles also have drift tuning upgrades, and some of them are actually half off. Those are the Vapid Dominator FX Fox Body Mustang, the Dinka Chavos V6, the Honda Accord, the Bravado Gauntlet Hellfire, aka the Dodge Challenger Hellcat / Demon, and the Honest Hardy, as well as the Honest Hardy. Keep in mind, those 4 vehicles that I just listed have to be bought first and then brought over here to be turned into a drift car, and those will cost you $200,000 to install, while it takes $50,000 for them to be removed. Speaking of which, some of those cars are actually, a lot of those drift cars are actually half off. The Guardi Wide Body Cheetah Classic is currently on sale, as well as, where is it? The Ubermacht Cypher, which has a drift spec, which has drift tuning. The Dinka Jester RR, which also has drift tuning. And I believe those 2 are 30% off. The Guardi Stinger TT is on sale. Now, next up, the Vapid Dominator FX is half off, with the ASP variant being 30% off, and Sultan Classic 30% off. The Futo GTX also 30% off, and the Honest Remus. All those cars, with the exception of the RS Classic and the ASP, having drift tuning, as well as the Declasse Drift Tampa, are also currently on sale. So definitely pick up one of those cars if you're into it. My personal recommendations are both the Dominators. The ASP for its customization, starting from a 2000 Cobra R, being able to turn into any V8 variant, whether it's a Celine GT or a Terminator, or the Vapid FX, or the Fox Body here, which is additional drift tuning. They're both solid performers, and those 2 I highly recommend buying this week. there's the Calico GTF, as you can see on the prize ride, is also, which is also part of the tuners class, is also something that you could probably recommend. I also recommend grabbing, and to get that car for free, you have to get top 4 in 2 races in the Los Angeles car meet races for about 2 days in a row, at least top 2. So just do a drag race each day. Do one drag race each day to make it easy, and you're good to go. So anyway, that's enough out of me. Let's get to the customization of this thing. Now, one thing, like I just said, the Drift Walton already has the drift upgrades already installed. And the only thing that carries over from a standard car to a drift spec is the armor. Everything else is, the performance is all what you see on the left side of the screen is actually probably the most accurate the drift cars are, because what I have to say about the Drift Walton also applies to all the other 19 drift cars. They are not the best in the straight line. They slide a lot. They're all-wheel drive, and their braking and traction absolute is not the best. In fact, they suck. Not saying it's a bad thing. It's just that compared to all of the other cars, their standard counterparts, drifting in the drift cars, in my personal opinion, are really only useful outside when they're only being used in the drift races, in my personal opinion. Don't get me wrong, I like the drift cars, but this is so far the only one that I've currently owned because of their performance. And before then, when these cars originally came out, you used to be able to put your performance upgrades before you applied the drifting upgrades to make a car faster, but Rockstar has since nerfed that. So the drift cars actually perform worse performance wise than their standard counterparts. But then again, these things were built for drifting, so it's really no surprise there. So for those of you that don't know, so allow me to say this again, but in a different way. If you have performance upgrades on any of the cars that I showed you earlier on that computer in the corner of the screen that have those drift spec parts available, or at least the drift customization available, you'll keep the you will keep the your performance upgrades. However, when you turn on the drift conversion, they will pretty much be turned off for the most part. So you won't be able to get any of the extra performances such as top speed and acceleration with them. So the drift spec cars will automatically be turned off. So honestly, if you want my personal opinion, I don't mind the drift cars, but I don't really see like a personal I really kind of don't see the point in really grabbing one unless you actually want one. So hence the reason why I never really had one up until now. Hey, don't get me wrong, I don't mind the drift cars. I'm not gonna pass up on a free car. I'm just saying. And also another thing about the Drift Walton is that compared to the other two, the L35 off-roader and its stock variant, is that compared to those two, these new customizations items are completely separate. Meaning this one has its own customization parts that is exclusive to that one, to this specific one, rather than the previous two, which are exactly the same. And it also carries the same engine note carried over from it. So yeah. And I already have an idea of what this car is mostly going to look like as my first drift car. I've always debated on whether I'm going to get a drift car, but because of how sluggish they are and because of the fact they slide out a lot, I'm more comfortable really driving the standard cars rather than just putting on a drifting version, in my personal opinion, because sometimes you might actually forget to take it off because everything that I just said, the performance all overrides. The drift performance overrides the performance upgrade you already may have had installed if you already bought a car. You bought the car and just putting on the thing for the first time. So with that being said, excuse me, let me go back to the front bumpers right quick. Yeah, so the drip kit automatically just extends out, so I think we're gonna just keep the drip kit on here for now. Or no, I'm gonna go with the front diffuser and the extended skirt and the extended splitter for mine. And I actually have already taken a look at the customization prior to recording this video, so I already have an idea of what this thing's gonna look like. I kind of wish that this thing had a bed cover though. I think it would have made this just a bit more pleasant. Respray, I'll come back to that. Different spoilers here. Not bad. Alright, come on. Okay, gotta go with the boot lip. Primary sun strip, which you can get a livery on. And I'm gonna go with a plastic one. Suspension, I'm really just gonna leave stock because this thing is already low enough to the ground. So yeah. Roll cage. The roll cage does have secondary paint attached to it, but it's only for the padding. Since I bought this thing in orange, the secondary paint is currently black, and not to mention each roll cage also changes the seats, so keep that in mind. For now, I'm gonna go with just a standard half cage. Windows, I'm gonna go with the dark smoke. And respray. The trim color really doesn't do anything except for the, I believe it's tied to the secondary color, I'm not sure. But anyway, what was I? Oh, snap. Okay. Yeah, okay. Gotta go with the black to make this like a GMC Cyclone. I wish this thing was. And also the secondary paint is also part of the grille, which I'm going to keep chrome. So it's a straight up black on black for this. It's a straight up classic black on black for this. Crew emblems on the door. Now what was that? Now to go to the wheels. I've already put standard bulletproof tires on here. And whoops, I forgot to switch the colors. Switch the rims, excuse me. Let me try track wheels. Tempting, but no. You know what? Put on the V8 killers and kinda wish they were in chrome, but you know what? I'm gonna go black on black. Alright, I think I'm done. Now just to let you know how these drift cars handle in the streets. And that's pretty much going to do it for this one. And then let me tell you, I actually took this thing out for a test drive yesterday when I bought it. As of this recording, it's about the day after it got released, August 15, 2025, and it's everything like it says. Accelerations is okay. The brakes are practically non-existent, although it is better than the Tampa GT. I will give it that. And traction, yeah, what traction? So, my personal opinion, should you get this? Honestly, it's a free truck. So, I would say definitely grab it, but like I said earlier, you only have 2 weeks while it's free, otherwise you're going to be paying full price. But in my opinion, should you buy a drift car? In my personal opinion, outside of drift races, I don't really see like a need for them, because I've actually driven both non-custom cars in drift races before, and I actually have beaten people that actually did have custom drift cars. The only difference is that mine practically looked plain, because I didn't own one at the time until now. And I've actually driven multiple with only slight handling differences, because between the different cars, like the Drift Tampa, the Jester RR, the Honest Euros and whatnot, they literally perform the exact same with some slight handling differences. So honestly, if you were to ask me should you get one, I would say only if you want to have something flashy to drive in the drift races, because outside of that, in my opinion, while they are fun to use in drifting through traffic and whatnot, like I'm sort of doing right now, they're actually kind of useless. So yeah, those are my 2 cents about it. So anyway, that's gonna conclude this video. I truly hope you enjoyed. If you do, please leave a like, hit the subscribe button for more. Feel free to hit me up with a comment down below. And as always, I truly hope you enjoyed. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Later.